So during my post-college years from about 2006 to 2011, I used to road bike a lot. It was kind of my main go-to for outdoor activities, especially when it was warm enough. But even then, I would go out in the rain. I'd go out in the ice, stupidly. And though I've tried to keep it on my roster of activities as I've gotten older, I've developed an orthopedic issue that just makes it impossible for me to ride anymore. So it's a real big bummer. I miss it a lot, but I thought one way to deal with that reality is at least try to put together a retrospective of some of the great experiences that I had. I wish that I had more of a mindset back then to use my film skills to really document and make like real quality videos out of all the stuff that I used to do, but I just wasn't thinking like that back then. I was just kind of living life and doing things without documenting it. So all I really have are some random pictures of some of the bike tours that I went on, and that's what this video will be. And please forgive the photo slideshow format. It's just all I have from the time that I was doing this kind of stuff. All right, so mahalo for checking this out, and let's go ride. My dad is from the Buffalo, New York area, and I spent my elementary school years there. In the summer of 2004, we visited together to tour the Niagara Falls area by bike.
If it keeps on raining, I'll just keep on waiting.
At a local museum, I got a taste of what it would have been like to bike around there 100 years ago. In the summer of 2008, we brought our bikes back. We explored the downtown and harbor area that was then having a burgeoning revitalization.
Are we really headed this direction here? 'Cause our adolescence lasts this long. The truth is never certain, but should we continue to wait? And I ain't playing the jury, but we're gaining no speed at all.
In the summer of 2007, my dad and I visited Nova Scotia. For a couple days, we explored the area on bike. You can see on my channel a more comprehensive video about that trip.
Without a fight, and don't be mistaken, it's about foresight. It seems we love the games that
In August of 2008, my dad and I visited my college hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we brought our bikes along. We started by touring around the Center City area, of course, having to stop by the art museum and the Rocky statue.
this merry-go-round of chemical ups and downs.
Then we headed out of the city towards Wissahickon, a spot that I used to bike to while in college when I needed some non-urban decompression time. I also filmed my senior film there.
I can't see our future, but we're gaining no speed at all. Won't be taken in without a fight. Don't be mistaken.
Another cycling trip I did with my dad that summer was to first check out some of the Rails to Trails projects in Pennsylvania. We rode the Pine Creek Gorge Trail, which passes through what I believe the locals call the Grand Canyon of Pennsylvania. Though we did bike a little on the next leg of our trip, we had a bit more of a focus mission as we drove north into Ontario, Canada. We were determined to explore the efficacy of an old manuscript that had been recently discovered in my family, that was written by my dad's great-grandfather, I believe. In it, he details his father's exodus from Germany in the late 1800s, his immigration to New York City, and subsequent wagon train journey north to his eventual settling in Rockford, Ontario. Though Rockford isn't much of a town anymore, just farmland, some of its original buildings, like the schoolhouse, were now residences. We also happened upon the local cemetery that still had the gravestones from the writer of the manuscript and his father, whose journey was chronicled in it. This was a piece of our family history none of us had known about prior to uncovering the manuscript, and it turned out that it was more or less accurate. We also visited the quaint lake town of Port Dover on Lake Erie. Then, a few years later, and after a lot more cycling that I didn't document, halfway across the globe, my dad came and visited me on Maui, where I was living at the time, and we got to do some bike tours there, too.